Good morning, church. Happy Tuesday. It is September 19th, 2023. And since it is Tuesday, you know what that means. It means we're going to continue on with our Worship the King devotion. And today the title is Love the Lord. And it's coming from Mark 12, verses 28 through 34. And so I'm going to read that first. Mark 12, 28 through 34, which says, "One of the teachers of religious law was standing there listening to the debate. He realized that Jesus had answered well, so he asked him, 'Of all the commandments, which one is the most important?' Jesus replied, 'The most important commandment is this: Listen, O Israel, the Lord our God is the one and only Lord, and you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And the second is equally important: love your neighbor as yourself, for no other commandment is greater than these.' The teacher of religious law replied, 'Well said, teacher. You have spoken the truth by saying that there is only one God and no other. And I know it is important to love him with all my heart and all my understanding and all my strength, and also to love my neighbor as myself. For this is more important than to offer all of the burnt offerings and sacrifices that are required in the law.' Now, realizing how much the man understood, Jesus said to him, 'You are not far from the kingdom of God.' And then after that, no one else dared ask him any more questions." It was Mark 12, verses 28 through 34. And the key verse today, love the Lord is the title. The key verse is Mark 12, verse 30, which says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength." Covers all the areas, right? Just love the Lord your God with all of your being. Let's get right into this. Is the Christian life primarily about loving, or is it primarily about doing? Now, that's a tricky question, isn't it? Because on the one hand, if we say that love is the priority, we risk blending in with the rest of the world and potentially compromising in areas that we don't want to compromise. Everyone loves, right? After all, everyone loves. The objects of love may differ, but the presence of love is nearly universal. If our faith is about love, at least in the human type, in the human perspective, and in how we view love, we're not very distinguishable from the corrupt world that we live in. On the other hand, if we go to the other side and action is the priority, we're only one step away from becoming card-carrying Pharisees ourselves. Nearly every religion is filled with long to-do lists, and there is no end to the activities that spiritually hungry minds can come up with in an effort to get closer to God. And the problem is, as we know, that good behavior never made any sinner acceptable to a holy God, because it's never enough. So how can we love God in an authentically Christian way? When Jesus tells his listeners to love God with everything in them, what does he mean? What does that look like in the life of an ordinary believer like you and I? Is it a feeling? Is it an action? Is it an unsolvable mystery that we're going to spend our whole life seeking after? The love we are to have for God is unique among loves. It is comprehensive. It is a radical reorientation of life around what we consider to be ultimately, overwhelmingly valuable. Is it a feeling? It certainly involves our emotions. Is it an action? It certainly does involve our behavior, but it is more. Loving God means doing God's will because we treasure and value his plans. It means feeling passion for him because he is worthy of our passions. It means expending all our emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical energy for his sake and not our own. Though we still relate to others and have activities in this world, everything is now in reference to his central role in our lives as our greatest love. He takes his place at the core of our being. Love the Lord. And the quote today is from C.S. Lewis, which says, "A man's spiritual health is exactly proportional to his love for God." C.S. Lewis, man, a man's spiritual health is exactly proportional to his love for God. Take some time today and do some inventory on your spiritual health and think about it. How proportionate is your spiritual health related to your love for God? And then pray and ask the Lord to reveal himself in new ways to you today so you can fall in love with him all over again. You guys keep praying for me, and I'll keep praying for you. God bless.